Ready?
Yep.
Hi, everybody. Michelangelo Badio here. And
Adam Turetzky here.
yes, and Adam Turetzky. And we have a pretty much, there's a lot of delay today on this one.
It's always, what we're watching is 10 seconds behind.
Okay. But anyway, we were going to do a live stream today to jam. Adam, we've known each other for a long time. He's been the video person here for, 2.5 years now?
2.5 years now, yes.
Yeah. And I met Adam when he was a kid, and I was a youngin' still, early 20s. We had, I used to teach guitar at a local music store, and Adam was my student. And so it worked out good.
Guitar obsessed at 14, and met a guy at a guitar store, Gand Music and Sound. Hi, Gary, if you're watching. And Keith Marks is the reason this happens, and people in the music industry will know who he is. Producer, road manager for REO Speedwagon Styx for the longest time. And he's like, well, don't tell my boss, Gary, I don't give guitar lessons. My mom asked if, can you teach him how to play? Keith's like, I don't, but there's this friend of mine, Mike Badio, up the street at the Competitors store, the Music Gallery in Highland Park, which is still there in the same building.
Yeah.
Frank, I believe, is the owner.
Yeah, Frank Leona.
And so my mom called there and got me lessons. 3:30 in the afternoon on Mondays was when I met Michael. I was 14.
Yeah, I used to be very organized because not only, did I have a schedule of students, because it was the same time every week, but I kept a notebook of exactly what I gave each student, because I know I used to do this when I was taking guitar lessons. The teacher wouldn't write down what he gave me. So if I had too many songs or too many things to learn in one of the books I was supposed to be learning from, I would just say, well, you only gave me this. And so, I could cheat a little bit. And I said, that's not going to happen when I'm a teacher. But yeah, it's great. And then, here we've known each other for such a long time, and we've worked together for years now. But I thought, what better way? I'm going to be going on tour very soon, so all the live streams you see from me will be on the road. And there's a pretty extended tour with Manowar, and then I'll be in California for Sawtooth, and then it's the holidays, and then I'm back on the road on tour. So this is really the last one here like this for a while.
For this year.
Yeah, and I thought, what better way to end it than with a jam. So these are songs, jam tracks that Adam put together. And so why don't we just start?
Actually, I actually wrote them all, so these are all original compositions.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't said hello to everybody, but let me look. Okay, John, Peter, Roxana, Denny, Joel, Lester. Somebody wrote Dick Dale or Lester. Dick Dale is rolling over in his grave. Well, it wasn't exactly Dick Dale that I was influenced so much by. It was actually the Ventures. And I like Dick Dale, don't get me wrong, but I was a huge the Ventures fanatic. And of course, they were surf rock, if anybody knows the history of that genre of music. All right, so anyway.
Anyone else to say hi to? I can't see the screen.
Yeah, say the Time Prophet. Somebody asked, does Manowar mind if you film backstage? Manowar's Manowar. They're a huge band. So whatever they decide is what we do. So if I get the blessing from them, I do it. If not, but they're doing pretty well. And we, I say them, but as far as management and marketing, they do a great job. So, I'm the guitarist, so that's my job. Anyway, so let's...
I saw somebody mention, this is a Sawtooth guitar today, so we're playing Sawtooth.
And Denny said, hey, Adam.
Hi, Denny. And I saw John Peter Britton said hello, too.
Yeah.
Or is it John Peter in Britain?
No, John Peter Britton.
In the UK.
Yeah, but it's one full name, though. It's not like John Peter in Britain, I don't think. Unless you can clarify that for us, John.
This is live, and we are reading your chat.
Yes. Okay, so anyway, are we ready to rock?
Are you ready to burn some frets, melt some rosewood?
Yep, so you're going to go first on these?
This one? I think this has an intro, so I'll go first. Which one is
rock jams, too. But yeah, it's fun. So let's see. Please, a new day tutorial. Yeah, that's my song, A New Day. Sorry, I was reading some of these comments here. We have a monitor here. Yeah, it's fun. I also saw Steve from Hell Creek Music and More online. Hey, Steve, how are you? Joel, a lot of people here. All right, I think we should just get to it. Want to do track 2?
Track 2.
This is an F sharp, the key of death.
Key of
You-
death.
You know, speaking of that, on my Wikipedia page, I don't know what's up with Wikipedia, but they talk about where I say F sharp is my favorite key. And see, the reason it's not my favorite key, it's one of many keys. I like every key. But what I did learn in music school is that composers, as well as myself, thought of different keys that had different feelings. Like when you hear, like, for example, you know, F sharp in rock. It has that traditional British metal type sound.
Speaking of which, there's this song that you showed me that he transcribed. That's an F sharp tune.
Yeah, and so the point is that, you know, different keys to composers and as well as myself have different feelings. And like I hear like a certain riff that to me it sounds like it should be an F sharp, or AC/DC playing in the key of A. It's not just positioning, but it's a certain sound. I mean, you could play the same riffs in B flat or C, but it wouldn't sound the same. So when you read, you know, if you read up about me and it says, oh, F sharp is my favorite key, it's not. I love it, but I like every key. You know, each one has its own flavor, its own sound, and things that I like to write. I like to write in certain keys because to me it sounds like that's the key it should be in. Okay, somebody said I thought your favorite keys were the keys to the Lamborghini. Yeah, you are correct. Okay, so I take that back. F sharp is not my favorite key. It is the key to the Lamborghini. So anyway, thanks. Are you ready? Let's do it.
Sure. yeah.
All right, that was fun. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, I saw a friend of mine, Kerry Conrad. He's online here. Hi, Andy. How are you? But Kerry and I have known each other since we were freshmen in high school. So 14 years old. Wow. And we're still friends. And yeah, I saw he was talking about the get-together we used to have. Anyway, let's do song 3. We might as well just keep moving on here. Are you ready?
We're ready.
songs end kind of abruptly.
Extended that one. Someone asked my influences. Mike probably doesn't remember what were the first things that he transcribed for me. I was hugely at the time into Nazareth when I first met him and started taking lessons. And then Ted Nugent is a huge influence, Gary Richrath of REO Speedwagon, and Dave Lubick of Molly Hatchet. So I don't know if you can hear any of that in my playing. Oh, and UFO, Michael Schenker. Those are the guys I listened to growing up. And what's the I mean, I wasn't really into him, but Def Leppard, especially that High and Dry album and On Through the Night, Wasted. I must have played that song every day of my life for the first 14 years that I played guitar. So,
well, Michael Schenker was great because his solos, I look back then at two kinds of players. There's the Jimi Hendrix style, which I would put Eddie Van Halen in that class. And I'm not saying that comparable to Hendrix, but they had that really wild style. Like a lot of Wang bar, like wow, 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 just crazy. And so you had that school. Steve Vai I would put in that school. I was more of the Eric Clapton school. And it took me a long time to figure this one out. Michael Schenker is more in that Eric Clapton school, and so am I. And so that's why I used to love figuring out his riffs. They made all musical sense. It wasn't and a lot of crazy things, which, like, I would never have been good at copying Van Halen because I don't hear music like that. And it took me, like I said, a long time to realize that if you look at two different styles, which in rock I really related more to early Eric Clapton. He was considered a guitar hero. He was even fast for the time. Now, of course, nowadays, not even close, but I was more into that. And instead of doing like tricks, my tricks were over under the neck and things. But yeah, so when Adam was into especially UFO, I loved figuring out that stuff.
Somebody mentioned Uli John Roth, totally out of my radar at the time when I was starting, but recently, 10 years, I've listened to older Scorpions and that stuff. Great player. I was not aware of him at the time. Somebody just said Randy Rhoads. How can I not mention that? Well, I think the third song Mike showed me was. So we all, if you were 14 in 1982, you'd learn that song.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden was huge too. What was the other one? Of course, Van Halen, but I digress.
Yeah, there was just so many great guitar players.
And something that he transcribed for me, and it's not just my idea. I thought the best album that I've ever learned, if you want a guitar lesson, to learn to play the blues scale over a blues rock or learn how to solo. And it isn't just my opinion, which I had for years. I'm pretty sure it's Mike's friend. And if you click the link down below, learntoshred.com, Doug Marks said this, or it might have been Wolf Hoffman from Guitar Player Magazine. The best album to learn to play over the entire thing is Molly Hatchet's Flirtin' with Disaster, both sides. You just put that on, play through side one, play through side two, and I laughed when I heard someone else say that because that's what I did for months when I started playing, and you figure out the licks. They're very simple blues songs, and you'll learn how to transcribe, and you can just play the pentatonic scale over every single song, and you sound great.
Yeah. No, that's great thought. And one of the players that I used to figure out a lot of riffs was from Johnny Winter. And I was really into Johnny Winter. Even the song Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, even though he didn't write it, Rick Derringer, the guitarist who did write it and did the version that became the huge hit, was the rhythm guitarist in Johnny Winter's band. And the first version of that song I ever heard was Johnny Winter's. And I still like it a lot better, although I understand why the Rick Derringer version of that song, Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo, became a big hit. But yeah, there were certain guitar players. Michael Schenker was one of them. And I know Michael Schenker. I know Uli John Roth pretty well. We've toured together. We've spent a lot of time talking about music. We're friends. And Schenker, I know pretty well, but it's hard to know him. He's just a different type of person. And, it's like, we don't talk about music that much, where Uli and I had a lot of discussions from Beethoven to metal and everywhere in between. Yeah, Johnny Winter was a great slide guitar player, and he was also a great singer. Rock and roll, chicoo. I loved his vocals were amazing. Anyway, so we have a few more songs for you. Let's see. Somebody wrote, my second concert ever, mid-'70s, at the Aragon Ballroom. Yes, of course, that's in Chicago. Hey, Joel, nice. Johnny Winter. I never saw him in concert. I wish I would have.
How did shredding come along and who invented it? That's a good question, but I've heard a lot of people go back to something that changed the whole thing, and I remember as a kid seeing it going, you first heard the Van Halen album, and you're like, what was this? But the second thing that happened, because it was on the beginnings of cable television, and credit where credit, Alvin Lee at Woodstock, Going Home. Go watch that. That was what, 1968?
No, 69.
69?
Yeah.
He's playing like that. I don't think there was anybody doing that at that time. I saw, there's a movie, the famous movie that they made, and I saw that on VHS and was like, oh my God, what is this? So Alvin Lee, the open to Going Home, that's shredding, and that's where it started.
Yeah. No, it's true. Somebody wrote, Castor wrote, is it more difficult to use a used pick? That's Sonny Landreth, James. I think he's a blues guitarist. But anyway, rather than a new one. It's an interesting question. But I will say this, I have thousands of used picks here. They look like they've been through wars. I prefer new picks to play because I start to wear them down, even the heavy ones. A pick can only handle the shred so long. And, I used to use thinner ones, and I'm not kidding. They would start to like form to my hand. I almost thought I was melting them. But these, ChromaCast makes the teardrop shape, and they're 1.2 millimeters, which is thick. And, I use them for a while. I probably go through in a concert 3 or 4 guitar picks, which isn't really a lot. I'm not flicking them out to the audience. But I have to use new picks every show. I think it's better. It's not like strings. I don't change strings every day. Well, I don't change it. We have a guitar tech. Sorry, my voice is a little hoarse here. It's the autumn in Chicago now. It's getting dry. But the point is that I think new picks work, but I don't always use new strings because sometimes older strings don't squeak as much, and as long as they can hold their intonation, because really that's the problem. One of two problems. One, they sound duller, but that's not always a bad thing, where it's not super bright. But the other one is, what I do like is they start to eliminate squeaks because they get older. The problem is they lose intonation when they start to get dirty. And like if you looked at it under a microscope, instead of having a 009 or a 011, you're going to see stuff like this on them, and that's where it messes up. Okay, Roy Clark was great.
Oh my God.
All right,
Shredder.
are we ready to do the next track?
You wanted to ask picks. Jazz 3, Jim Dunlap. The shred was transferred when I was 14. I was using a Fender Medium when I met Mike at my first lesson, and he's like, I think you'll do better with this, and handed me not this Jazz 3. I wish I would have saved that one, but he gave me one of his Jazz 3s, and I've never used anything else except for special circumstances. Like, I like playing a 12-string with a big, like, fatter, thick pick because it's hard to pick, and it also kind of destroys the pick when you play the 12-string. And I don't like them brand new. You got to put a little bit of a bevel on the edge. And I understand they make them now, like, pre-beveled, but anyway.
Wow. Yeah, Time Prophet, that's what you go by. You said Brian May is an underrated guitarist. That one I don't really see. I understand what you're saying, but Queen is one of the biggest bands in the entire planet, and he's one of the most well-known guitarists on the planet. Queen, even now today on Spotify and digital, all the sources that we get our music from now, they're gigantic. So to say he's underrated, I don't know.
It would depend who you ask.
Yeah. I mean, underrated in which way? Popularity, playing. He's known as a fantastic guitarist. He's always on all the lists. So I would say Johnny Winter is more underrated because he's not as well remembered. You don't hear that name. Or Alvin Lee. you don't hear these names as much as the Jimi Hendrixes and Jimmy Pages. So I kind of look at someone that's underrated as one that's really great but didn't get the recognition. But anyway, it's
How about Brian Robertson of
Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy?
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Yeah, I mean, but I completely understand what you're saying. I thought Gary Moore, is he underrated? Maybe, but he's so well known and still popular today. So, that's like, well, Steve Vai is underrated? I don't think so. He's not underrated at all. I just think it comes down to the success. If they're really, really well known, it's hard to say they're underrated because obviously a lot of people have spoken and they've given them the thumbs up. Okay, anyway.
Play metal, please.
Yeah, I play metal all my life. This is a live stream. I can do what I want. So anyway, but this is like heavy rock day. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Which one is this? New Jam 3.
It's called New Jam 3.
Yeah.
was a long one. It was fun. Is that a photo of a rainforest behind you? Yes, but it's not the rainforest. It's actually the sequoia, the redwood forest. This is the newest Mac operating system. I think it's called Sequoia.
OS 10 Sequoia. Yes.
Sequoia.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, so I like sequoias. I like trees. I like nature. I like Brazil, too. We're going to be going to Brazil. This will be my 6th or 7th time to Brazil coming up next month, and I loved each time. I can't wait. Yeah, this is fun. Adam came up with the tracks, and, it's, I play metal so much that I like this style of it. I thought it's really fun to play.
Sorry, I'm not quite right metal, like death doom rock or whatever. I think the hardest we got was that F sharp song. That was kind of Judas.
Yeah.
Don't let Glenn Tipton sue me, but that's probably a Judas Priest tune, I think.
Yeah, it's
that last one we just did. I've had that lick in my head for 30 years. That came out here.
Yeah, and Denny said great tracks. That's cool.
Thank you. The other one that we did was I don't know if anyone caught what that is. That was inspired by. Now I've got my own tune in. That's a Metallica tune. It's from One by Metallica. That's how you get inspiration. So I turn that into. So that's what that is.
Yeah, I took Master of Puppets and turned it into that. It was work. It was perfect. But you want to dump it. I like to down pick, but I get lazy because when you go, it's so easy to. And
Toy Caldwell, yes.
What's that?
Toy Caldwell of the Marshall Tucker Band.
Oh yeah, cool.
Can't you see the guitar solos in that? The live ones that are on YouTube.
Yeah,
incredible stuff.
Yeah, but I have a great time playing. I'm still like a kid when it comes to my enthusiasm of guitar and practicing and helping people get better. But Adam is a great player. He gets to do a lot of stuff. He's got a cool guitar collection. But it's just fun jamming, and it's fun jamming on these tracks. Okay, let's see. Happy wife, happy life. I'm not married. I was engaged to the same woman, not once, but twice. Twice! That's metal. And we're still friends. We're still real close. So it's, what are you going to say? I guess that I love all 250 something. And so,
I think I have 35.
Yeah.
If you want to follow me online, it's in the description. I'm on Instagram at TURKCHGO. So link up. I'm on, I think you call it Threads. It was Twitter. Same handle.
You mean X, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to be Twitter forever. That's like renaming the
Twitter
Sears Tower. It's like, you can't rename that.
It's too much social media.
Anyway, find me on Instagram at TURKCHGO. Mike shares me somewhat regularly.
Yeah, Denny's got 191 guitars. That's pretty rocking. Yeah, because, it's a good time to buy guitars right now.
Especially a sawtooth guitar.
Yeah, well, we have all the new models coming out really soon. It's just, like everything else in this world post-COVID, you have to wait longer and things just take longer than they used to. What are you going to do? It's just a sign of the times. But they will be in stock very soon. Okay.
Oh, hilarious. Another influence I forgot about.
April Wine.
April Wine, my favorite Miles Goodwin, who unfortunately passed away about a year ago right now. I think without him, they're not a band anymore. Someone asked what happened to them. He retired from playing. They continue on. Brian Greenway, who played Sunburst guitars all the time. And there's a It was a VHS, but I had that when 1982, 83, when you're media obsessed before we had YouTube. It's called April Wine Live in London. I probably watched that every single day for like a year. And I own the Miles Goodwin, the famous guitar that he played was a Gibson Artisan, which is a bizarre model. It's a Les Paul custom level thing, but it has really an ornate inlays. And I own one of them because of him. And another player who I know, who follows me on Instagram, Dave Davies of the Kinks, famously played that on their One for the Road tour in 1979. So,
yeah.
But tonight we play sawtooth guitars.
You know, it's Time Prophet. I'm going to use, because I've been seeing questions from you, but you say, I like to try a guitar before I buy, and you can't get sawtooth in Britain.
You can.
You can. But it's a very, very interesting thing, because I thought the same thing as you. That nobody would buy guitars online without playing them. That makes sense to me, but here's the thing in today, and I agree with you, you know, you want to try guitars. But one of the things about today's world versus the past is that, for example, a company like Sawtooth's quality is so good that you can buy a guitar online. You know it's going to be set up right. The price point is great, meaning it's a lot of value of guitar for the money, and you're going to get a really good guitar. And it's something that I couldn't wrap my head around with a long, long time ago. But as the internet matured and, you know, I mean, once we got YouTube and everything else, the idea of buying guitars online without playing them is a normal thing now. And I found, you know, I bought a bunch of guitars online, vintage guitars, and, you know, one was in such good condition, I thought I had a forgery, and I took it to the music gallery where I used to teach. First thing that George did, he's been there forever, a really close friend of mine, he popped off the neck and looked at the date, and what he did is he took an Allen wrench, an American one, and put it in the slot, because most forgeries, they don't think like that. They'll put a metric one because a lot of them are made offshore. And so the first thing he did, he puts the Allen wrench in. It's American. It fit. Pops the neck off. It said like 68. In fact, exactly said 68. It was an old Fender Mustang, and it's in pristine condition. So I agree with you about trying them, but I know that times have changed. And if you get a sawtooth guitar, anybody, you can feel comfortable. It's going to play really great when you get it out of the box.
And I've seen, I think it was him and a couple other people are like, you can't get it. They ship worldwide, as far as I know. You buy them off their website. They'll ship them anywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is not mine. This is Michael's guitar. And this has been in his collection in his living room for I don't know how long. And I tuned it up tonight, an hour ago, and it's still in tune. I'm playing it. You're hearing it. These are good guitars. And I don't know I'm not 100% sure what this costs, but it is very much sub $1,000.
Yeah, it's just great. Someone wrote, they have two Mustangs, scalloped one neck. That's cool. Now, so we have one more song to play. Yes, are you ready, Adam? This is called Jam Number 4, although it's the 5th song that we played today, but who's counting? All right, let's go. Yeah, it's so much fun to jam, and it's great. Like I said in the beginning, Adam and I have been, great friends for a long time, and we hope that you get something out of these live streams. It's more than just playing guitar. I mean, it's a lifestyle too, and things you can apply to guitar, you can apply to life. Practice, self-discipline, learning new things. There's a long list of things that are equally as important in life as in guitar. And, I just have a great time. And sometimes you just have to shut up and play guitar. It's nice to talk. And, my instructional programs get right to the point. There's sometimes a lot more playing than some of the live streams like last week. I lost a really close member of my family. We were super close. It's, my brother-in-law, but he was a brother. I was super close to him, super close to his son, my nephew, my sister's, son, and she passed away 10 years ago. My younger sister, who thinks of this stuff, but life goes on and the shred goes on. But, I think sawtooth guitars are great. Adam was gracious enough, I told him, I said, you're going to, got to use a sawtooth, and it is a sawtooth.
No problem.
Stream, and he doesn't have all sawtooth guitars in his collection, but they play great. He's really comfortable with it. These guitars sound killer. We've been beating the heck out of this.
Tune.
Yeah, perfectly in.
After an hour of playing.
Yeah, this is perfectly in. So Sawtooth makes great guitars, and the proof is in the playing. They sound good, they look good, they feel good, but and they just work really great. So anyway, thanks to Adam, thanks to each and every one of you.
Thank you for having me on, Mike.
Cool.
Thank you, Sawtooth.
Yeah, and on behalf of Sawtooth Guitars, Chromacast Music Products, Go DPS Music, I'm Michael Angelo Badio.
I'm Adam Turetzky.
Joey. That's Robert. See ya.
And here's we got, unless you can do the honors.
Now you get to see when the show starts, because Adam's the guy that's got to shut it off. But normally he's behind.